Welcome students to my English class. As you can see, today we are going to start with theme 6 worksheet number 3. So let's proceed with the worksheet. Here today we will learn about active and passive voice. So what is an active and passive voice? A feature of a sentence in which the subject performs the action of the verb and the direct object is the goal or the recipient. Like the mechanic fixed the car. So here you can see the subject is performing the action, that is, he is fixing the car. So in the passive voice, a feature of the sentence in which the object or goal of the action functions as the sentence subject and the main verb phrase includes the verb to be and the past participle. The car was fixed by the mechanic. So here what happens? The subject and the main verb phrase includes the verb to be and the past participle. Moving on to the next slide. Some very basic rules for changing an active to passive. Now we will see some examples in different tenses. Present simple, does, is, or are done. Past simple, went becomes was or were gone. Present perfect, have or has eaten changes to have, has been eaten. Past perfect, had traveled to had been traveled. Future with will give, will be given. Future with going to, am, are is going to start. Am, are, or is going to be started. Modal verbs must, buy, must be bought. So these are the change of tenses which takes place while changing a passive verb into active or changing an active verb into passive. Here you can see voice has two parts, an active and passive. Active focuses on what the subject does and passive focuses on the action. Ram killed Ravan. Ravan was killed by Ram. So you can see what is the subject doing? The subject has killed Ravan. And next in the passive, the focus is on action. Was killed. So Ravan was killed by Ram. Some more examples. Simple present from active to passive voice. I read an interesting novel. An interesting novel is read. Present continuous. I am reading an interesting novel. An interesting novel is being read. For simple past, I read an interesting novel last night. An interesting novel was read last night. Past continuous. I was reading an interesting novel. An interesting novel was being read. For the case of present perfect, I have read an interesting novel. For the change of active to passive voice, an interesting novel has been read. For past perfect children, follow I had read an interesting novel, had been read. For future, will read changes to will be read. For future, be going to, I am going to read an interesting novel. An interesting novel is going to be read. So these are the very basic changes from simple present, present continuous, simple past, past continuous, present perfect, past perfect, and future tense. I hope you all have understood. Moving on to the next slide. Here you can see that in your workbook, worksheet number 2 deals with active and passive voice. So as I have told, active is the subject is the focus, passive voice, the action is the focus. Ram eats an apple is eaten by Ram. So here are a few more examples given, like he writes a poem is written by him. I fed a cow was fed by me. Similarly, few more examples are given over here. Next, you have got this exercise. Change the sentences from active to passive voice. Mohan sells fresh vegetables in the morning. Fresh vegetables are sold by Mohan in the morning. Jaya taught me how to cook. I was taught by Jaya how to cook food. The musicians played guitar during the function. The guitar was played by the musician during the function. Moving on with number 4. The audience laughed at the clown. The clown was laughed at by the audience. Meera sang a beautiful hymn in the morning assembly. A beautiful hymn was sung by Meera in the morning assembly. Number 6, the baker made fresh chocolate cake. A fresh chocolate cake was made by the baker. We celebrated World Yoga Day with great zeal. World Yoga Day was celebrated with great zeal by us. So, this is the first exercise where you need to change the sentences from active to passive. Now, in number C2, which is also your classwork, there are the steps of changing a milk into curd is given. With the help of the words in the brackets, fill in the paragraph to complete the process. You need to use passive voice to complete the process. So let's proceed with the exercise. Leave it to settle down. Okay, fine. So full cream milk is taken in a vessel and boiled. It is boiled. After that, the milk is allowed to cool till it is lukewarm. A bowl with the starter curd is taken and the lukewarm milk is poured into the bowl. The bowl is covered with a lid. Milk is curdled and left to settle down. Curd is ready. So here are a few mistakes over here in the book. It will be boiled and curdled. All right. So this is the exercise. You need to complete C1 or this exercise and C2, the following exercise. All right. So I hope all of you have understood what is active and passive voice. So all of you need to complete this worksheet as your classwork. And for your homework, I have given an worksheet on active and passive voice. So complete both the worksheets and submit it. So children, this much for today. Thank you and have a great day ahead.